Evening, everyone. It is 6:30. It's August 5th. It's time to get started. I'd like to call the Liquor Control Commission meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Vogel,
Here.
Commissioner Pontos,
Present.
Commissioner Vito,
Here.
Commissioner Lang,
Here.
Commissioner Kruger,
Present.
Commissioner Rafato,
Here.
Chairperson Horker.
Here, you have before you the minutes of the special meeting of July 15th. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Papantos, second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Rafato, roll call.
Commissioner Papantos,
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafato,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes. Do we have any citizens' concerns or comments?
Not today.
Cute.
New
New
business.
business, please.
6A, consideration of a request for Class I liquor license from St. Joseph the Worker Parish for an event to be held on Sunday, September 8th, 2024.
Mr. Spondilis.
Thank you. As the title indicates, this is a request for a Class I not-for-profit special event liquor license for an event to be held at St. Joseph the Worker from noon until 6 p.m. on Sunday, September 6th. All beverage sales and services will be conducted from a single location and limited to wine and beer only. All sales will be controlled through a ticket and wristband system to ensure strict oversight of who is allowed to be served. This is very much in line with events that the church has held previously, and there are no conditions associated with a request to approve.
Questions or comments?
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion,
Second.
Commissioner Vogel, second Commissioner Papantos.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafato,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes, you made it just in time, Mr. Hackney. Next item.
6B, motion to declare the Class A-V liquor license held by MNP Wheeling, Inc. at 403 West Dundee Road to be forfeited and lapsed.
Mr. Spondilis.
Thank you. This is a mostly administrative item for the state to make a clear distinction between the liquor license held by the former owners of M&P and the license held by the current owner of M&P. So this is, again, to declare the Class AV license held by the original owner of M&P to be forfeited and lapsed. I can answer any questions you have. Otherwise, I would ask that any motion be made conditioned as follows. Motion to declare the Class AV liquor license held by M&P Wheeling Incorporated to be forfeited and lapsed effective upon the commencement of alcoholic beverage sales and service at 403 West Dundee Road by Skytop LLC or other successor. Again, this is just to ensure that they can continue with service, but to draw a distinction between the original license and the new license.
Questions or comments?
Make a motion to.
Motion, Commissioner Lang, second Commissioner Rafato. Roll call.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafato,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos,
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
In a meeting.
Chairperson Horker.
Yeah, but we're in a meeting.
No.
But you can't, wait a minute.
Hold it.
Pat,
No.
just approach the dais and take things off the dais.
She can sign. but-
Yes,
yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, but there should be some decorum in whether, the way she approaches.
Quiet in the past, it's never been a fuss.
That's not my point.
Sure.
Was there a vote?
Wow.
Yes. Now we're on
Move to adjourn.
Adjournment. Can we have a motion to adjourn the Liquor Control Commission?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Papanto, second. Commissioner Kruger, all in favor?
Aye.
Liquor Control Commission is adjourned.
Okay, hold on just a second here. Okay, I'm ready.
I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Village of Wheeling for August 5th. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato,
Here.
Trustee Kruger,
Present.
Trustee Lang,
Here.
Trustee Vito,
Here.
Trustee Papantos,
Present.
Trustee Vogel,
Here.
President Horker.
Here you have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of July 1st, 2024. Need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
Trustee Papantos,
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
Trustee Rufato,
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes, you also have before you the minutes of the meeting for July 15th, 2024. Need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Trustee Vogel, second. Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
Trustee Papantos,
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
Trustee Rufato,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Citizens' concerns and comments.
Hey, that back, please.
Let's get the show on the road.
Okay. All right. Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Member of the general public who wish to address the board must sign the request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting. We have Elva Kreutzer.
Just as a reminder, this is a time for the citizens to voice their concerns and comments, and the village board and the staff to listen. This is not a time for question and answer. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Township High School District 214 has been around for about 112 years. Over the years, we have formed partnerships with individuals, corporations, as well as local government entities. It is partnerships which create a great learning environment for our 12,000 students and roughly 17,000 staff members. Good evening. My name is Alva Kreutzer. I'm president of the District 214 Board of Education. I've come here today to say thank you for the great partnership we've shared all these years. The long-term commitment of the school resource officer and the other endeavors we have enjoyed over the years, I thank you very much. I look forward to many more years of great partnerships. And that's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Deborah Wilson.
So you've got something on the consent agenda whereby you're looking to change lifelong health benefits for an emergency services employee injured in the line of duty. So I think this is a really big mistake because a lot of people have to convince their parents why it's a good idea to be a police officer because nobody wants to do the job these days. Well, you might get hurt, son. You might, well, you don't need to worry about it. They'll take care of me if I get injured in the line of duty. This board has done everything to remove that security, not just from one officer, Steve Hull, who was legitimately injured in the line of duty. When he got hit by another car, he was pulling over a traffic stop on Milwaukee Avenue. They'd use the jaws of life to get him out, and every time he's up for disability, you guys try to take it away from him. So now the lifelong benefits. Is something funny here, Mr. Crotty? I don't think it's funny. It's a serious matter. okay, because we're going to really narrow our applicant pool. My sources at the Blue Line tell me that even though we are in the top 3 highest paid municipalities in Cook County or in the whatever 3-county area that they list, we have less boxes than lower paying municipalities. Law enforcement is a very small community. You deny an officer a legitimate line of duty disability, word gets out, and no one's going to be applying here in the village of Wheeling. That lifelong health insurance, if they're injured in the line of duty, is a security blanket to convince their wives and their parents who think it's insane to go into this line of work, and you're taking that away. It doesn't just affect the officer, it affects our entire community because we have less applicants or less qualified applicants. This is a big mistake. You know, what I don't understand is where we have legitimate legal opportunity to save money. You had a guy, an officer I believe it was the year before Chief Dunn. There was a guy in the annual report of the police who retired that year. I believe his last name started with a G. I won't say it on TV here. But he was caught faking overtime. That's a felony. Perfect opportunity for felony forfeiture of his pension. Now, that would have been legitimate, and it would have been a righteous cause. Oh, no. You guys give him his cold golden parachute he's stealing from us, and then we got a kid with a legitimate injury, and you want to take it all from him. I don't know how he sleeps I don't know how you sleep at night. Pat, your son, isn't he a paramedic? How are you going to feel if a municipality removes these benefits from him? God forbid he's injured in the line of duty. Now, you have many flaws, Pat Horker, but one thing I will say about you is you absolutely adore your children. Well, you know what? Somebody adores Steve Hull, too. He's somebody's son and somebody's husband. This is a really big mistake. I'd like to see if any one of you has the courage to ask President Horker to remove this from the consent agenda and put it on the regular agenda so there's some discussion over this. It's going to the circuit court now. When a judge rules on that, that's going to be in the papers.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Staff reports. Chief Dunn.
Thank you, President Horker. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite the community to join our officers and staff tomorrow evening, starting at 5 o'clock for the 2024 National Night Out celebration. It was first organized by the National Association of Town Watches to promote police and community interactions. National Night Out is now celebrated nationwide. The event is held on the first Tuesday of August. We partnered with the Wheeling Park District, our fire department, and other organizations to host an event featuring local food trucks, free hot dogs, live music, canine demonstrations, a vehicle display, and the Park District will open the Aquatic Center free of admission for us. It's an opportunity for our residents, young and old, to meet and interact with their police department. So we invite everyone to come join us, spend some time with us tomorrow night from 5 to 8, right behind this building at 100 Community Boulevard. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank you, President Horker, and each board member for the way you take care of all of our police officers. It is outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Dunn. President Stein, thank you for the Park District's efforts behind all this, too. You're always in attendance here. It's wonderful. Consent agenda. Clerk Brady.
Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, ordinance amending Title I General Provisions of the Wheeling Municipal Code to create a new chapter, 1.30, hearing under the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act. 11B, resolution accepting a previously bid State of Michigan contract with Lon Fontana CDJR Lansing for the purchase of a 2025 Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicle and one 2025 Chrysler Pacifica vehicle in the total amount of $92,378. 11C, authorizing the village president to execute a traffic and parking regulation agreement with Hunt Club Apartments, 350 Island Drive, Wheeling, Illinois. 11D, resolution authorizing the village president to execute amendment number 01 to an agreement with Kimley Horn for planning and design services.
I would like a motion to remove. I would like a motion.
So moved.
To remove item, I would like a motion to remove 11A.
Whenever you make an ordinance to change the law, you're supposed to show what the previous law looked like and the new law side by side with demarcations, just so that all the board members know what is newly added, what was not there previously.
The entire ordinance is new, Mr. President, so did you have a call for, you had a motion?
I would like you to maintain a bit of decorum. I would like a motion to remove 11A from the consent agenda for discussion. Could I please have that motion?
I don't think you have to have a motion to remove it and put it on the
Well,
regular.
No, you don't, you could just. remove it.
Excellent, I'm going to remove that, and we're going to discuss this. So,
already been removed.
sorry?
I think it's
So
already been
11A
removed.
becomes
Possibly.
13D.
11A, 13.
Which means we are now voting on consent agenda items 11, well, previously 11B, C, and D.
Correct.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, second. Trustee Rufato, roll call.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Old business?
Let's move on to the new stuff.
The presentation. 13A, presentation regarding fiscal year 2023 annual comprehensive financial report.
I believe that's you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, President Horker. As the agenda indicates, Brian Lefevre, a partner from Sikich LLP, is here to speak with you tonight about the fiscal year 2023 audit. It began in late 2023 and was completed in June of 24. In June of this year, staff provided the board with copies of the ACFR, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, and related documents. And for those watching at home, we posted those documents to the transparency section of the village's website, where residents and other interested parties can view them at any time. From staff's perspective, the audit process went very well again this year, largely due to the expertise and professionalism of Brian and his staff. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce Brian, and he'll discuss the audit with you and answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Brian. On behalf of Sikich, I'd like to thank the president and the members of the board for inviting us to present some brief comments on the report resulting from the audit, as Brian mentioned, for your year ended December 31st, 2023. As Brian noted, the audit process does last over 9 months and includes input from all departments and from you, the village board, to help us focus our audit procedures on the areas of highest risk. What culminates in all of those procedures and testing then is the document that Brian referenced, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Just a few highlights from the report. Within the introductory section, there's an award the village received for for this report, or from last year's report. This year's report is with the Government Finance Officers Association for review this year, but that award was the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is the highest level of financial reporting within the local government industry. And it's 43 years the village has received this report, so you should all be commended for that and for your leadership and your participation in this program. In the financial section, the couple key documents there that I'll point to you, first is the independent auditor's report. When you engage us to perform an audit of the village, ultimately we're going to give an opinion on your financial statements. In order for us to give an opinion on your financial statements, we're required to follow two sets of standards. One set of standards are the auditing standards that come from the AICPA, the American Institute for Certified Public Accountants. Those standards tell us the types of procedures we need to perform when we're conducting our audit. The second set of standards then are from the GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, and those are the financial reporting standards. So those tell us what this document needs to look like. Once we follow those two sets of standards, we can then issue an opinion. We're pleased to present what's referred to as an unmodified or clean audit opinion. And that means that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, free of material misstatement. And that's the highest level of opinion that you can receive on your financial statements. So then we get to the compliance piece. That's the financial audit. The compliance piece then is in a couple different components. One is related to your tax increment financing districts. You'll see a separate opinion that's an unmodified opinion on your compliance with laws and regulations in the state of Illinois related to the tax increment financing districts, and that's required for the state comptroller's office on an annual basis. So more good news there. And then finally, any year that you have expenditures of more than $750,000 in federal awards, you're required to have a separate federal single audit. So it's basically a compliance audit over your grant programs that are federally funded. And during the year, you had $5.4 million in expenditures of federal funds, mostly related to a COVID-19 program through Cook County. And in that separate single audit, we've given unmodified opinions on your compliance with that major program, meaning we tested the costs that were associated with that program that the village recorded on its financial statements, and we had no findings or questioned costs. So unmodified opinion on that major program compliance, and then there's also an unmodified opinion on the village's overall compliance with laws and regulations that could have a material impact on your financial statements. So all good news for you in that regard. The one other document I would point you to, if you haven't had a chance to look at the whole document, there's a document that's called the Management's Discussion and Analysis. It's after the two opinions that we've given in that financial section, and this is the executive summary. It's written by the village. It gives explanations of your own financial statements. It's a great document to refer your constituents to that are looking for a financial snapshot of the village. That document, in conjunction with your annual budget document, two of them, in my opinion, the most important financial documents, as Brian noted, both on your website. In conclusion, the audit went smoothly, and we received all the information on a timely basis, and all of the deadlines of the village were met. The village staff, very professional and easy to work with, and be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions or comments? Very informative document, by the way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We enjoy working with the village.
Thank you, sir. Number B.
13B, ordinance authorizing a seventh amendment to the restated redevelopment agreement between the Village of Wheeling and WTC LLC for the development of land at 351 West Dundee Road, Wheeling, Illinois, comprising a part of the Town Center Number 2 TIF district of the Village of Wheeling, Cook, and Lake Counties, Illinois.
Mr. Spondilis, what are we doing over there at the town center?
Thank you. Compounding the good news introduced by Brian just a moment ago, this is the seventh amendment to the Town Center Redevelopment Agreement. The Town Center, of course, is our downtown district. Lindmark is the ownership corporation of Town Center. This agreement specifically deals with 2 lots. You would recognize them as the vacant lots. It's currently grass behind Starbucks. So it's those 2 grass pads. The village owns those 2 pads, and the intention was always to develop those 2 pads. What this amendment does, however, is change that direction and instead says that those 2 lots shall remain undeveloped and that they will become a pedestrian use. So in and of itself, I think that's a good thing that provides a little bit of useful area for pedestrians who are going to the movies, who are using the restaurants, whatever. But more importantly, it comes as part of a review process that staff initiated at the beginning of the year, looking at the development as a whole and looking at it with a critical eye from today's perspective, as opposed to almost 10 years ago when planning really started happening for the downtown, and making some suggestions as to how to create the best opportunities for success in Town Center as it exists in today's reality. One of the things that they came up with was the idea of not building on these 2 lots because any construction on those 2 lots would further block the sight line of anything behind it. So we already have a challenge with people knowing that there's a movie theater or any restaurants that are back there. So that was part of this. The really exciting part, however, is that there is now an end user for the CityWorks building, and I am very happy to announce that Moretti's is purchasing the building that used to house CityWorks, and they came to the same conclusion that if they are to buy this building and create another amazing product as they have in their portfolio at every other Moretti's, they also wanted to make sure that that sight line wasn't blocked. So all of these things kind of came together at the same time. The ownership, Lindmark Group, very cooperative in understanding that in today's market, this is the best use. And with something like a Moretti's coming in and the volume of traffic that they deliver, it's all the more reason that we would need some kind of grass area to help complement, hopefully, the crowds of people that will now be both at Moretti's, overflow into our other restaurants, into the movie theater, all of that. This is a big win for the community because not only is it bringing in a local hero restaurant in Moretti's, there couldn't be a more perfect location when you consider the investment that this community has with the Park District facilities that are right behind it. If ever there was a spot that was built for a company like Moretti's to be successful, it is Town Center. And they will be purchasing that building from the developer. They hope to open as soon as possible. In fact, the owner of Moretti's was in there last week with a tape measure. The calls have already begun to Mr. Clicker for what they're going to do to the interior. So they expect to be open, the official answer is as soon as possible, most likely by Thanksgiving. That's certainly what we're hoping for. And that will go hand in hand with Rosebud Steakhouse, who should be open by the first week of October. And we begin work on the large art installation on the Uptown 500 parking lot building within the next couple of weeks. So by the holiday season, our downtown area should look substantially different in a good way. So that was a long introduction to say this is a simple amendment to the RDA that changes the use of lots 4 and 5 from development to open space. The properties will remain the property of the Village of Wheeling. Did I miss anything?
No.
Trustee Lang, what do you got?
So when you say undeveloped, we're going to fix them up.
Staff will be presenting the board with some plans for the whole development, and the answer to your question is absolutely yes. They would not just stay
Don't like the gravel,
that half
grass
gravel,
sort of-
half grass.
No,
I think you'll be,
contractor grade grass that's in there, no.
you will be pleasantly surprised with the package of upgrades that we will be presenting to the board and the Plan Commission.
And to follow, Moretti's is going to be a great addition to Town Center, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Questions or comments? If there are none, Trustee Papantos.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that in the past, CityWorks was owned by Lindmark developer, and CityWorks leased Moretti's is buying that particular building, correct?
Correct on both accounts. They were a tenant, and now Moretti's will own the building.
And is the City Works building the same size as other Moretti's restaurants, do you know, off the top of your head, or larger, smaller, about the same?
Just from my experience in going to many of them, it's probably a little bit smaller, but they have some pretty interesting ideas on how to make that work. So the building is 8,400 square feet, so that's what they're working with.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. If there are no other questions, I would be looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
Trustee Lang, second. Was that
Second.
Trustee Kruger? Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Mr. Spondilis,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Mr. Becker.
Wait a second.
Mr. Becker, what do we got? Oh,
Hold
wait,
on. I didn't-
Brady's got to read this first. There's something going on at Starbucks.
I thought you were just like congratulating us, like, well, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right, 13C, resolution awarding a Wheeling Restaurant, Entertainment, and Retail Build-Out Assistant Grant for KAVA Java LLC, doing business as Scooters Coffee at 310 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Now, Mr. Becker, please.
President Horker, trustees, thank you very much. With us this evening is Jeff Tybon, one of the owners of KAVA Java. You have to love the name. Doing business as Scooters Coffee, which now has over 800 locations throughout the U.S., and will be establishing their first franchise of this group, Jeff and his partner Jesse, in Wheeling. This was a former Starbucks location at 310 North Milwaukee. They will be investing well in excess of $400,000 between materials and labor to basically rehab this building to the corporate standards of Scooters, and as such, well exceed the 50% match under Program B, as in boy, of the Restaurant, Entertainment, and Retail Build-Out Grant. Hence, staff is recommending approval of the full $50,000 amount for Scooters Coffee in Wheeling.
Questions or comments? Trustee Papantos, anything? No?
Building looks great.
I know, I like
It's very bright. If there are no questions or comments, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Trustee Rufato, second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. I believe we're at item D now. Is that correct,
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Counselor?
We are.
Please read it,
Wait,
right?
Yes.
it was, oh, here. 13D, ordinance amending Title I, General Provisions of the Wheeling Municipal Code to create a new Chapter 1.30, hearing under the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act.
How many amendments has this ordinance had, or this code had? Mr. Counselor?
No, this is a new ordinance.
This is brand new.
Correct.
So there's no red line, there's no old version to be amended.
None of that is required.
Excellent. Mr. Spondilis, what do we have here?
Oh, I'm going to let the attorney handle this one.
Mr. Ferrolo, what do we have here?
So let's start with the Public Safety Employee Benefits Act. That's an act in the state of Illinois that provides that if a first responder is injured in the line of duty such that they can no longer work in their jobs as either a firefighter or a police officer, if one of four conditions are met, the employer municipality is required to pay health insurance benefits for that officer or firefighter until that person receives Medicare, for that officer or firefighter spouse until they receive Medicare, or and for their dependents until they turn the age of 25. The four circumstances under which PSEBA applies are as follows. If an officer is injured and loses his ability to work while responding to a fresh pursuit. If an officer or firefighter is injured in responding to what they reasonably believe to be an emergency, if an officer or firefighter is injured due to the unlawful act perpetrated by another, or if an officer is injured during the investigation of a criminal act. Again, if they're catastrophically injured, which doesn't mean death, which means that they have lost their career, they can no longer perform their work, they are entitled.
Those conditions exist separate from what we've created here.
Right, it's a state statute. It's been a state statute for many, many years.
This doesn't change any of that.
Does-
Okay.
This,
I'm sorry.
our ordinance doesn't change any of that, nor could we change any of that.
Okay.
We have followed PSEBA like every other Illinois municipality since it's been on the books in the state of Illinois. What this ordinance does is provide a more streamlined procedure under which PSEBA benefits will be considered. It allows for better due process. It allows for an applicant to present to the village manager or his or her designee as a hearing officer and present evidence. If the officer is denied PSEBA, this procedure creates a more streamlined and easier process to get review in the circuit court. Currently today, the manager makes a decision with the help of counsel, and if an officer is aggrieved and is not happy with that decision, if it's a denial, they have to file a brand-new lawsuit in the circuit court. We haven't had one of those here in Wheeling. Typically, these cases are pretty obvious or not, whether someone's entitled to it. But this process that we're creating really creates a better process. It does nothing to remove rights. It is actually it's based on the model ordinance presented by the Illinois Municipal League. So it's what you heard tonight, that somehow this is a reduction of rights isn't even close to being accurate.
Does this make it easier for an officer who believes to be aggrieved to get his case to court?
Yes, in a much cheaper manner in terms of presenting evidence, et cetera. It's a money saver, it's a time saver for an officer or firefighter that believes they have not been treated properly under PSEBA. And again, it's based on the Illinois Municipal League's model ordinance that most communities have adopted.
Any other questions? I'm sorry to have capitalized on this conversation. Does anyone else have questions? Chief, we good with this?
The absence of anybody, any officers or firefighters here in protest speak to the interest.
Thank you all for your indulgence. I would be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion, trustee Vogel. Second, trustee...
Second.
Lang beat you by a little bit. Second, trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Official communications. We all went to a restaurant sort of reopening earlier and ate a lot of really good Georgian food. It is, I'm going to try and pronounce it right, Stamara. Easiest way to describe it, southwest corner, Dundee and 83. Amazing Georgian food, light pastries from the bakery, spicy but well-blended flavors from the kitchen and the sausages and stuff. Really, they recently received the restaurant build-out grant, and they used that to open the second side of their restaurant, which is a bakery. Mr. Becker, you want to give the...
President Horker, yes. The owners came in for a restaurant retail build-out grant right as COVID was happening, and they were delayed about a year in opening. Opened Persmani, which is the Georgian bakery in Delhi. That business was wildly successful. Their customer base said, we needed to open a sit-down restaurant. The space next door just happened to be opening up. The lease was signed for 10 years. The ownership came back, husband and wife, and here we are today with a grand opening and just getting rave reviews in the city that if you want true Georgian food, you have to come to Wheeling. We actually love that. And we hope that they will continue to draw folks from throughout Chicagoland to Wheeling.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for the,
Oh, I have to read something.
please?
All right. Mail ballot applications for the November 5th, 2024 presidential election are now available. Please visit www.cookcountyclerkil.gov to print an application in your language of choice. Should you need an application mailed to you, please contact our clerk's office at 847-499-9231. Thank you.
One more bit of business. We have the bills from July 11th through July 31st, 2024. Need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, roll call, please.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, final bit of business. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee Papantos, second. Trustee Krueger. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.